outbreeding devices. So already we had studied that two types of pollinations are there in the angiosperms. One is autogamy and other is allogamy. That is, autogamy means self-pollination and allogamy means cross-pollination process. So out of these two methods, cross-pollination is more advantageous when compared to the self-pollination. Why it is so means, in the cross-pollination the genes of different plants have been coming into the daughter plant, such that the hybrid seeds, possibility of production of hybrid seeds or the better variety of seeds or good charactered plants can be produced. So because of that reason, the plants get adapted in such a manner, or they acquire some new characters, or we can say they will exhibit some contrivances such that they will inhibit or they will try to promote the cross pollination in place of self pollination process. So that is what the contrivances that are exhibited by the flowers to promote the cross pollination is called as outbreeding devices. So there are some outbreeding devices. Let us discuss. The first one is a dicliny condition. Dicliny or unisexuality we call it as. So dicliny or unisexuality means production of unisexual flowers by a plant is called as unisexuality. So here the flowers are unisexual in their nature. So there are two types of unisexual flowers are there. One is called as male flowers and other are called as female flowers. So in the male flowers only androecium are present, whereas gynoecium is absent, but in female flowers only gynoecium is present and androecium is absent. So there is no possibility of cross pollination. That means in dicliny 100% there is a possibility of only cross pollination, no chance of self pollination in the unisexual flowers. And whatever the amount of pollination that is taking place in those unisexual flowers, that pollination is 100% of only cross pollination method. So here we can call male flowers as staminate flowers and female flowers as pistillate flowers also. So when unisexual flowers are present in the plants, it may be either dioecious or monoecious condition. Dioecious and monoecious condition. Dioecious means where one plant with only male or female flowers, whereas monoecious, both types of unisexual, that is male and female flowers are present on the same plant. So that variation, of course, both of them are in both of them the flowers are unisexual only. Here also the male and female flowers are separate. Here also male and female flowers are separate. But one plant contains only male flowers, whereas other plant contains only female flowers. Whereas here male and female flowers are separate but present on the same plant. So both of them are showing the unisexuality or the dicliny condition. So dioecious condition can be seen in some examples like in Vallisneria, papaya like plants. So here in these plants self pollination can be avoided and also geitonogamy is also been avoided, because geitonogamy means two flowers present which are participating in cross pollination should present on same plant. But here the entire plant, if you consider one plant of Vallisneria that contains only male flowers, so there is no possibility of two types of flowers participating in the cross pollination present on the same plant. So here, whereas in monoecious only self pollination is avoided, whereas there is no possibility for avoiding geitonogamy in the monoecious, because in monoecious condition male flowers and female flowers both of them are present on the same plant. So there is an equal chance of cross pollination between the flowers, male flowers and the female flowers present on the same plant. That's the reason why it is not possible to avoid the geitonogamy in the monoecious plants, but it is possible in the dioecious plants. So likewise, this is a condition where 100% assured self pollination is absent. Only cross pollination, 100% assured cross pollination in the plants is possible by dichloeny or unisexuality. One more type of outbreeding device is dichogamy. So dichogamy is observed in bisexual flowers present on the same plant. So when it is a bisexual flower, there is an equal chance of self pollination and also cross pollination. So here in this dichogamy process, the self pollination is avoided and cross pollination is promoted. So this is a controversy that is exhibited in these flowers. So here based on, okay, what is dichogamy means? The time period of maturity, or there is no synchrony between the maturity period of androecium and gynoecium of a bisexual flower. That means either the androecium may mature earlier or the gynoecium may mature earlier, but when the androecium is matured, so gynoecium is in the immature condition, while in other condition gynoecium is in mature condition. At that time the androecium will be in the immature condition. So there is no synchrony between the maturity periods of maturity time of both androecium and gynoecium in a bisexual flower. So based on that one, dichogamy are of two types. One is called as protandry and second one is called as protogyny. Out of these two, protandry is most commonly seen in majority of the plants. So in this condition, the androecium of a bisexual flower will mature earlier when compared to the gynoecium. So that androecium matures first. By the time androecium is in mature condition, that is, it is ready to, the stamens are ready to release the pollen grains. At that time the gynoecium is in immature condition. When it is in the immature condition, the gynoecium or the stigmas of the carpels are not ready to receive the pollen grains. So at that time, whatever the pollen grains that are released from the anthers will be transferred to the other flower. So after some time, the gynoecium will become matured. By the time all the pollen grains are transferred to the other flower. So this is a way how this protandry is helping in. This is a way how the protandry is helping in avoiding self pollination and promoting cross pollination. This type of characters can be seen in many examples like sunflower, triadax like plants. Whereas protogyny, so this is quite opposite as that we have seen in the protandry, where gynoecium will mature first. By the time when the gynoecium is mature, that is now the stigma is ready to receive the pollen grains, by that time the androecium of the same flower is in immature condition. So that means it is not ready to release the pollen grains. So what does that stigma will do? It will receive the pollen grains from other flower belonging to the same species and it get pollinated and fertilization will take place. After some time when the androecium is ready to release the pollen grains, by the time the gynoecium or the pistils may become wither. So this is a way how this protogyny is also helping in avoiding self pollination and promoting cross pollination. This type of character can be seen in Solanum, Datura, Scrofularia like plants. Next one is Heterostyle. In majority of the flowers, the styles which are present in one flower will be of a same height, but there are some plants in which the flowers contain styles with a different height. So based on that condition, we call it heterostyle, that is styles of the flowers are of different heights. Based on that one, we call it as heterostyle. There are two types of heterostyles are there. One is called as diheterostyle and triheterostyle. triheterostyly. In diheterostyly, so if we take one flower, this flower, if it is having short style, along with the short style it have long stamens, and another flower, if it have long style, that flower will have short stamens. That means these flowers are also in bisexual condition. Despite of bisexual condition also, they are not able to participate in self pollination. Why? Because when the self pollination will takes place means one condition is both the androecium and gynoecium should mature at same time, and both of them should be present at the same level, at same height. But here the style is short here, whereas the stamen is long. So there is no possibility of self pollination. And in other flower, style is long and stamens are short. That's the reason why here also there is no possibility of self pollination. But the long styles of this flower can receive the pollen grains from long stamens of one other type of flower. In the same way, the short style of the first type of flower can receive the pollen grains from the short stamens of other type of flower. So here there is a possibility of cross pollination, and here as two types of flowers are present, we call such type of flowers as dimorphic flowers. These flowers are called as dimorphic flowers. So this type of character can be seen in primula and jasmine like examples. Next, coming to triheterostyly. Here one flower contains two types of styles. So that is two types of styles and one type of stamen. Like let's take first flower, two types of styles means if it is having long and medium sized styles, the stamen present in the flower will be short. So that as the styles are long and medium, there is no possibility of cross self pollination with the short stamens of the same flower. The second type of flower, if it have long and short styles, the stamens present in that flower will be of medium sized. So because of that reason also there is no possibility of self pollination. Whereas in the third type of flower, which contains medium sized and short sized styles, in such flower the stamens will be of long sized. Here also there is no possibility of self pollination. So here, as we can observe here, three types of flowers are present. So we call such type of flowers as trimorphic flowers. So this can be seen in examples like lythrum. And here the medium sized styles present in this flower can receive the pollen grains from the medium sized stamens of another flower. In the same way, the long styles of this first flower can receive the pollen grains from the long stamens of other flower. Here in the second one also, the long sized styles can receive the pollen grains from long stamens of other flower. And when it comes to the second, here also the short styles are present. It can receive the pollen grains from short stamens of another flower. Here the medium sized styles are present. It can receive the pollen grains from medium sized stamen of other flower, and a short one here. So that everywhere we can observe the possibility of pollination when the height of the style and stamen are equal. So here this type of condition is called as triheterostyly. One other type of outbreeding devices is hercogamy. So this hercogamy is also been observed in bisexual flowers, where both androecium and gynoecium are present. And as we say that there should be a synchrony between maturity period of androecium and gynoecium of the flower At the same time, they should be at the same level or same height. So here, what is the reason why this hercogamy, in hercogamy, why this self-pollination is avoided and cross-pollination is promoted means, here the andrecium and gynoecium are at different levels, are in different directions also. Because of these reasons, there is no possibility of self-pollination, only cross-pollination is promoted. So let us take the examples of hibiscus, that is China rose. In this one, the stigma are present beyond the stamens. So these are the stigmas, 5 stigmas are present, and the stamens are present on the lower level. That means simply to say, all these are stamens. So here the stigmas are present beyond the level of stamens. So this is a reason why this hercogamy in hibiscus is promoting cross-pollination and avoiding self-pollination process. And one more example, Tridax if we take. In Tridax also the same character will be seen where the bifid stigma is present. This bifid stigma is present beyond the level of stamens. So 5 stamens are present here. So here bifid stigma. This bifid stigma is beyond the level of the stamens. There is anthers here, and these are the filaments. Here also, as this female and male structures are not present at the different levels, there is no possibility of self-pollination and they will go for cross-pollination. In the same way, one more example, Gloriosa. In Gloriosa plant, the stamens and carpels, both of them are present in different directions. As they are present in different directions, there is no possibility of transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma. So these are the 3 examples where the hercogamy is there, which is promoting cross-pollination and avoiding self-pollination. Next one is self-sterility or incompatibility, or simply to say it is self-incompatibility. So as we are saying, in this condition also, the flowers should be bisexual in condition, but one thing is when a flower is present which is bisexual, which contains both the andrecium and also the gynoecium, and both of them are maturing at the same time, when the pollen grains are transferred from anther to the stigma of the same flower, they does not germinate. So as they are not germinating, we may consider them as sterile pollen grains. But if the same pollen grains are transferred to some other flower belonging to the same species, they are not germinating here, but the same pollen grains are transferred to the stigma of other flower belonging to same species, here the germination is taking place. That means the pollen grains are self-sterile but cross-fertile. So this is a mechanism that can be observed in Abutilon. That is what we call as self-incompatibility. Otherwise, as they are transferred to the other stigmas of other flower belonging to same species, so they are germinating. So we call it as cross-compatible. So in some plants, when the self-pollens are transferred, so what happens is the flower, it becomes poisonous to the flower, such that the flower will get withered. So this can be seen in some examples of orchids, where the self-pollen grains are poisonous and promoting the withering of the flowers.